Come out with us and play. Love your London. Have a banana. You know, I said that there were going to be 8 episodes on Aldgate? Well, I lied. There's going to be 9. Partly because otherwise this video would have been far too long, but mainly because this episode is talking mainly about anarchy, and what could be more anarchic than telling you that you are getting 8 episodes only to discover it's a lie. Yes, Aldgate has a real anarchic past. We touched on it a little bit in the last episode when we spoke about Altab Ali and the fact that his senseless death in 1978 brought the Bengali and anarchist scene together, united in their successful fight against the National Front. Well, the anarchy roots go much further back than that. But first, Big Ben, or the Great Bell as it's also known, the Liberty Bell, the Bow Bells.
Lots of bells.
Lots of bells. The Bow Bells. The Bow Bells is what this whole area of London is all about. The bells in St Mary le Bow in Cheapside. If you're born within the sound of the Bow Bells, you're a Cockney. All made here at the Whitechapel Bell Foundry, established 1570. Very, very important building. Sadly, it's closed. And this time it's nothing to do with the pandemic. It's to do with greed, and it's to do with regeneration, but mainly greed. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more about it as we go around the corner. So this was founded in 1570 during the reign of Queen Elizabeth I, and it holds the Guinness World Record as Britain's oldest manufacturing company, except it's no longer here. It closed down last year and it moved to Oxfordshire, Bromley and Dartford and Stoke and loads of other places. Now, there are 3 bells as the manufacturer's mark, and you'll be able to find them on the bells. Now, I talked about greed. Oh, no. It's fine. So I talked about greed. Basically, this old foundry was sold in June 2017 by Alan and Catherine Hughes to property developer Vince Goldstein for £5.1 million, and on the very same day he sold it to American investors Raycliffe Capital for £7.9 million. So a £2.8 million profit all in the same day. Not bad for an afternoon's work. And this was the family business. I mean, the Hughes used to run this place for generations. So what he did was really reprehensible, and the local community are absolutely up in arms about it. There have been protests and everything. Up until a couple of years ago, it was possible to visit this foundry as a working museum. Now, as I said, it's the site of a bitter row. Raycliffe Whitechapel, which is the hotel that is being built behind and bought the site off the former owner Hughes, has had plans approved to keep this area as a sort of museum as well as an art foundry. And the plan he has is to make some kind of interpretation centre where members of the public can learn about bell making, and small bells will be sold. And he's going to do some sort of like the original casting pit. He's going to open it to the public and whatever. Basically just to try and keep the local population, the local Spitalfields Trust and all the other people happy, but they're not happy. So the UK Historic Building Preservation Trust, which is one of the Prince of Wales's charities, is trying to buy it back at the moment at market value, and they have the money to return this site to become a working foundry again. And not just some tourist attraction that's going to be in the middle of the hotel to sort of it's just going to be a naff touristy attraction. Now, as I said, there's been lots of protests, and were it not for the current pandemic, no doubt there'd have been many more this year. But it's not too late, and the Historic Building Preservation Trust, the Spitalfields Trust, and the East End Preservation Society, among other organisations, are still hopeful that something can be done to prevent the desecration of this important local site. The local mosque, the East London Mosque, just over there, has also come out in full support of the old foundry and is opposing the construction of this hotel. So all I can say is really just watch this space. Hopefully the plans won't happen, this hotel won't be built, but I'm not hopeful, because they've sort of like come up with concocted this idea that it's going to make some local people happy, but it's sad. It's just going to completely change this area, and we're going to lose a really important part of our heritage again. Wow, that was unusually defeatist for me. We recorded this video on the 27th of September, as you may have seen, but a lot has happened since. 27,000 people have signed the petition organised by SaveTheWhitechapelBellFoundry.com, and there was a public inquiry which started on the 6th of October, and the Inspector, Paul Griffith, will be submitting his completed report in early December. Imminently, basically. It will then be up to the Secretary of State to decide the future. Lovely London is hoping that Britain's oldest single-purpose industrial building remains a working foundry. There's been some rather dirty shenanigans too. The hotel developers set up a rather sneaky county petition to save the Bell Foundry, promoting it on social media. Many people probably signed it without realising that it was the boutique hotel's plan of turning the foundry into a tourist attraction in their cafe. You almost stepped on the rat. You just stepped on the rat. Okay, so this whole area here is like a Muslim multiplex of different things going on. We've got accommodation here. We have the Marianne Centre over there, which is fantastic for women to be able to safely get education. There's a gym also for women. It's not open just for Muslims, it's open to anyone who wants to attend, but it's a safe space. And of course we have the mosque. It's the largest mosque in the UK at the moment, and it's one of the largest in Europe. We also have the offices of Muslim Aid are based here. The most impressive building by far, and especially when you see it from the other side of the road, from Whitechapel Road, is East London Mosque. There's room in the mosque for 7,000 worshippers. Now up here, as you can see, this used to be the Aldgate Street Great Synagogue.
See their year? 5659, that's the year they calculate.
That's right, and it's 1899 in our years. The Federation of Synagogues actually sold it to the mosque in 2015, and because there weren't really enough people coming here to use it. And what it is now, it's now a zakat centre. Now, if you don't know what zakat is a very important part of Islam. It's second only.
Is it not?
Yes, that's right. It's second only to prayer, and it's technically mandatory to give roughly a 40th of your money to charity. So it's sort of like a kind of a form of tax, very similar to our tax system. But as you know, in the UK, you don't pay any tax on the first £12,500 of your income. Where in the zakat system, there's also a threshold, and it's called a nizab, and you only pay zakat if you own above that amount. Now, in reality, of course, it means that pretty much everyone, especially in the UK, is above that threshold, because the nizab is really quite low. It's the value of 612 grams of silver, which right now would be about £343 at the time of recording. One would really hope that in a haul, that's HAWL, which is a lunar year in the Muslim calendar, one would hope that in a haul you would earn more than that money. Well, you would hope that you'd have more than £343. Unfortunately, Lovely London is, well, we're not monetising.
Oh no, he's begging again.
I'm begging again, I know. Now, it won't cost you anything, but if you subscribe, if you haven't subscribed already to our channel, please do so. Just and click on that button saying subscribe. There'll be a little badge at the end of the video as well, where you can click on our logo, and also it means that we know that what we're doing is being appreciated. So just like us, maybe one day we'll make more than £343. Okay, we just turned off Aldgate Street for the moment. We're going to go back onto it now. Just wanted to point out Cardboard Citizens, great little charity here, closed at the moment because of COVID, but what it is, as it says, it changes the life of homeless and displaced people through theatre and the performing arts. They've been working on Zoom over the last few months. Obviously that's not great for homeless people, that they then have to somehow find an internet and a library and whatever with the internet. May not have Zoom installed, so it's not really great. Hopefully this will be back and running soon, and there'll be plays being put on and engaging the local homeless community with the arts, which is a fantastic initiative, and I wholeheartedly endorse it. Going down now to Aldgate Street. Ooh, it's all right, that. Hang on. It's got a glass. I won't keep the glass. Keep the glass though. That's all right.
Don't get any on you.
I think we'll keep that.
Yeah, it's nice.
That's all right. There you go.
Yes,
See?
this is one of my.
Oh no!
What's that? Oh, I don't know, man.
Cool.
Dun, dun, dun. Those are nice. These are paws anyway. And I like the color too.
That's all right, isn't it?
Freeganism. Something I fully endorse.
As would, I am sure, Jack London, Joseph Stalin, Vladimir Lenin, Rosa Luxemburg and George Orwell, all of whom stayed at some point at Tower House, that building over there which used to be a doss house and is now, of course, luxury flats. In 1902, Jack London thought it was awful, calling it the Great Monster Doss House in his work People of the Abyss. Stalin stayed here a whole fortnight in 1907, as it was very handy for him to attend the 5th Congress of the Russian Social Democratic and Labour Party, where much of the Communist Revolution was hatched. George Orwell, however, gave it the thumbs up in Down and Out in Paris and London in 1933. That's right. Check out this art.
Check out that fridge.
No, don't need a fridge. No, look at this. Look at this. This is one of the original sticks. Now, I'm sure you've seen sticks art all over London. Often they're huge murals that he gets commissioned. This is one of the original ones. I saw it 10 years ago. It's definitely over 10 years old. It's great to see it still there. Unfortunately, some idiot has done a tag all over it, which is disgraceful. But yeah, this is one of the original sticks. This building here we have another stick, is the London Action Resource Centre, or the LARC. Now, we've actually been here before. It used to be called FARC, F-A-R-C. They changed their name probably to distance themselves from the rather nasty paramilitary group in Colombia, which had the same acronym. So it used to be called the Aldgate Action Resource Centre. It's now the London Action Resource Centre. What it is, it's basically an anarchist social centre, and it's where Reclaim the Streets, indie media, queer eruption and many other anarchist movements get together, share information. And we were actually here ourselves in 2016 when we helped paint a banner to commemorate 70 years of the Battle of Cable Street.
I remember that.
Well,
yes.
we've got some footage of it here now for you to look at. Hi, Peter. Hello everyone! On the march, we're getting very close to the end of Cable Street, to where the mural is.
¡Alerta! ¡Alerta!
¡Antifascista!
¡Alerta! ¡Alerta!
¡Antifascista! ¡No! ¡No pasará! ¡No! ¡No! ¡No pasará!
That That was this place, yeah.
Yeah, this is where we made it.
Oh, they're still around.
They've been around for ages.
Yeah, well,
It's good to see, because a lot of places have been closed down. There's a place just down the road near where we live, just down there, called Rampart on Rampart Street, which is no longer. But this one's still going strong. So basically, what this place does is it provides space and resources for people and groups working on self-organised, non-hierarchical projects for radical social change. And they've got a library there, which we've seen. They've got a place, as I said, where you can make banners. They've got a kitchen, they've got an open access computer, and they've got a really cool little rooftop garden as well, which we visited. So while Lark have owned this property since 1999, it has a strong anarchist history. It used to be another synagogue, but before then it was a headquarters for the East London Anarchist group, and before then it was the Arbeiterfront. So it was a Yiddish language anarchist newspaper at the start of the 1900s, and it means workers' friend in Yiddish. So there you go. So it's this whole area has got such a strong anarchist and left-wing history, and it's fantastic. And we're going to show you a little bit more of that in a few moments. But first of all, I think we're going to go home and leave this somewhere, because I don't want to be carting this around with me. So we're going to stop.
Treasures.
We're going to stop. You won't notice the gap. It's going to be seamless, but. Tell you what, I'm going to do my little trick. Ha! Magic! As you can see, you wouldn't actually notice it because it's all been completely KFCized. But this is a little alleyway called Angel Alley. And down here we have something called the Freedom Press. Okay, so we're going to go inside the Freedom Anarchist and Second-Hand Bookshop.
Cool.
Also, advisory service for the squatters. Okay, Okay, so we're here in the Freedom Press. It was founded in 1886. Is that right?
That's right.
By Charlotte Wilson and her partner. Is that?
Peter Kropotkin.
Yeah.
And there's a whole host of people on the original kind of Freedom Board, including Edward Carpenter, William Morris, all kinds of people that people may recognise the names.
Yes. And now you've been producing a newspaper here. Used to produce one of the oldest anarchist papers here, although you don't do it anymore. Is that right? Or
well, we think it's the oldest surviving anarchist newspaper in the world. We now have a quarterly magazine, which is free, and we distribute that as widely as we can, and we have a website that's very well used, which is updated every day with news and all the rest of it. So we don't have a newspaper anymore. This building used to have a printing press in it, and was constantly churning things out. This is not the original building when we were set out. But originally, when Kropotkin set it up, there were kind of various different editions of it as well. So you had a Jewish language edition and all kinds of different ones for specific groups of people.
And there's also a London Squatters Advisory Group, is that right? And
yes, the ASS, who was set up, I think, in the late 70s. So they've been stuck with that name for some decades. They're upstairs. Pre-COVID, they were basically doing a drop-in session every weekday, and people would just come in if they had legal problems, or if they're looking for somewhere to squat, or they weren't sure about the situation that they were in. They could just drop in and get some advice, court advice, and they also produce a squatter's handbook that's regularly updated. It's currently in its 14th edition.
Right.
Because obviously the law's constantly changing, so you constantly have to change the handbook. So they're on the top floor here. We've got other organisations as well who have offices above us.
Corporate Watch, is that right?
Corporate Watch is one who regularly produce lots of reports on various aspects of capitalism and what they're doing wrong again. We've also got an organisation called Dog Section Press, who produce some very funky radical books, and they also produce a thing called Dope Magazine, which is a little bit like a kind of anarchist big issue.
Yeah.
The difference is that although homeless people and others, you don't have to be homeless to distribute it. You don't have to register, so we don't take your name.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, what was I going to say? Oh, and you don't have to pay for it. We give them out free, whereas big issue you have to pay a certain amount. And basically so Freedom Bookshop doesn't produce it, but we help distribute it. So quite regularly people are coming in, getting another bag of dopes off us.
Okay,
In
thank
one
you.
of these, if you see someone with a plastic bag like this, that means they're an official seller. They haven't stolen
They
them
haven't
or
nicked
anything.
it from
They've been
someplace.
officially given them out,
Right.
and so you can happily give them money
Great.
and know that it's helping them buy a sandwich or whatever. So on the shutters,
Yes.
we've just recently had
Oh, some art.
a few
Oh,
of
yeah.
the anarchist greats. This is Kropotkin,
Oh yeah.
Emma Goldman there, I think.
Oh, this is the same guy that did the Corona ad. That's Illustrate.
Oh right, yeah,
That's the guy the same that you thought was a real Corona ad, but it was coronavirus.
right, yeah,
I've
yeah.
seen it, but
People
it's really.
taste.
Yeah, they're kind of established.
I recognize the
they do a lot.
style. It's him. But
Yeah.
cool.
And also, much longer ago, Victor Harper produced woodcuts.
These are nice. These are
More than a decade.
yeah, these are properly etched metal kind of thing. It's nice. Huh. Like woodcuts.
Yeah, there's a lot of that kind of woodcut style stuff.
Like old posters.
Well, that was a bit of a political one, wasn't it? Hope you enjoyed it. In the next instalment, yes, it will indeed be the last of the Aldgate episodes. We'll be checking out Aldgate East Station and moaning about the loss of yet another important pub. Till next time. From Acton Town to Wimbledon, from Brixton to beyond, love your London, have a banana.